So today I want to share with you my studio essentials. In reality, all I need to paint is one brush, one tube of paint and one surface. But if I want to take it seriously and bring my paintings to the next level, well then the studio essentials will ensure a good daily workflow in a healthy environment. So let's start directly with the most obvious, and number one, the first studio essential is paint. I use oil paint and I use a combination of brands. So at the time of recording this video, I mostly use Rembrandt, Utrecht and Winsor & Newton. I use this brand because I think they offer really good quality paint. I want to mention that I'm not sponsored by any of these brands, and nothing that I'm gonna share with you today has been sent out for free to me.
I purchase everything that I have in my studio with my own money.
That said, I try to link everything that I'm gonna share with you today in the description box below. These are affiliate links. It's my first time trying affiliate links, so if you purchase anything through this link, this will give me a small commission and it will directly support the channel, so thank you very much. Coming next, after the paint, we have the brushes. For the brushes, I use also a combination of brands. So I mostly use Raphael. These ones are natural bristle brush, and I use also Blick Master Stroke. Then we have palette knives. These are RGM from Blick. I use 3 palette knives. I use the number 2, a small one. I use a medium one, a number 50. And I use number 71, that is a larger one. This is the one, the 71 is the one I use to mix my colors. And these two is to organize colors on my palette, to organize the piles sometimes, or to reorganize my palette, my mixing area. And I also use them sometimes to make small marks on my paintings. Coming next, we have the scraper. The scraper is really an important tool in my tool set. This one is very useful. As you can see, it's retractable.
I can retract the blade.
So it's very safe to use, and I use this one in the studio, but I also take it outside when I go plein air painting. So it's very nice to be able to retract the blade. The blade is also changeable, so you can change the blade when it's been worn. And so I use this to clean my palette at the end of the painting session, but also while painting. While painting is very important for me to keep my palette clean. So this gonna allow me to scrape my palette and to have a clean palette in a few seconds without using any solvent whatsoever. Coming next, we have the easel. Now that we have all that, we need somewhere to place our surface where we're gonna paint. So we place the surface on a easel. This is my studio easel. And there we go. I have here my surface placed on my easel, and I can start to paint. And I can also, it has wheels, so I can also move it around in my studio. This is very convenient. This is mostly for larger paintings. So since I started oil painting, I decided to focus myself on smaller surface, mostly 9x12. But for this size, I mostly use my homemade palette box. I mostly use my palette box because it's more convenient. As you can see here, that brings us to our next studio essential, is the mixing palette. So as you can see here, my palette box comes, as the name implies, directly with the palette attached to it. That's why I use it every day, because it's
very convenient.
I set my colors at the top of the palette, and then below is my mixing area. This is a glass palette, so it's very convenient. It's very easy to clean. I almost never clean it with a solvent. I just use my scraper that I showed you just before. But yeah, that's it for the palette. After the palette, what is very important to me to have is the sealed jar. This is how I clean my brushes. Inside I put a combination of mineral spirit and safflower oil. At the end of the painting session, I can dip my brush in there and then clean it with a rag or paper towel. When I don't use them, they are constantly closed, and they ensure that the solvent doesn't evaporate in my studio. Coming next, we have the palette cup.
So these palette cups are also to place in their solvent or oil.
And these are the ones I use when I paint. So when I paint, I open one of these cups and I dip my brush in it to load my brush with some solvent or the medium that I have in there. So these are open when I paint. The other jars are closed, and I just open them when I clean my brush. Talking about cleaning brushes, coming next we have paper towel. When I paint, I constantly need to clean my brush, so I wipe my brush off on the paper towel. If I don't have paper towel, I can use rags. In both cases, it's very important that it's lint free. Coming next, we have the closed trash. So this one, open and close with this, so I can, while I paint, I can place my foot here, open the trash and throw the paper towel. When I need it, it stays closed, so it ensures that the fumes doesn't evaporate in my studio while I paint. Even though this trash is closed, I still need to empty it many times per day, many times per painting session, or at least at the end of each painting day. So there we go, we arrived to the last studio essential that I want to share today with you. Before sharing that last studio essential, I want to thank everyone that share, comment and like my videos. This really helps the channel. It's completely free and this really gives a boost to the channel. So please, if you think this video is useful or any video on my channel, please share it, place a comment. I always read and answer these comments, and like the video. This really helps the channel. Thank you very much. The last studio essential that I want to share with you today is the light. The light is probably the most important aspect in the studio. I made the choice in this studio to enclose the only window that I have. I have one window and I blocked all the light coming from this window. This is a south window, so the sun is constantly, or the light is constantly changing in that studio. So I made the choice to block that window. So this allows me to control completely the light in my studio. I have some backdrop light that are not powerful enough to lead up correctly the painting, but these backdrop are still important. So I want to make sure that I can change the temperature of this light bulb. So this is my main painting light. It's a small light that I place on top of my easel when I paint. There we go. Here, this is the light I use when I paint. I have other lights that I can set up if I need more light. I also have a dedicated light for my still life setup. This light is very important because I can change the temperature, and I set this light to 4500 Kelvin. This is approximately the temperature of the daylight. To judge my colors correctly on my paintings and my values, it's very important that I have this light right on top of my painting, so I can clearly see what I do and my eyes doesn't get tired after hours of being on my paintings. So there we go, these were my studio essentials. I hope you found them useful, and if I forgot something that is essential to you in your studio, please let me know in the comment below.